record this. So I'm going to say that again. We're going to create the top, and don't worry about these eyelets. We're going to create the top, just the outside edge, and the piece that goes across like this, the top, and then the bottom's going to look like, you know, like this, okay? Come on, buddy. There we go. Something like that. Except I'm going to do something a little bit different to show you guys how this goes together a little bit better. Before I say anything else, I'm going to go like this, and I want you to see my face, or my mask face, or whatever you want to call it. I want to be very clear when I say this. You cannot do this in one day. You can't probably even do it in 1 week. That's why I'm starting now. We have 6 weeks of class till the end of the quarter. I'm going to try and give you each step. You have basically 5 steps, okay? What I'm showing you here, this is step 1, the top and the bottom. Step 2 is to create it so they are vertical from each other. Let me see if I can show you this. To make it so they are vertical and have beams that go up from the bottom up. It is exactly what I showed you, right? Wait for it. I got to share my screen. Let's open up Inventor, and let's go to Skycar Base. Oops, this one. Yep. This, obviously minus the text, is everything that I'm talking about. This beam, this beam, this beam, and this beam are step 2. Step 1 is the top of this and the bottom of this, okay? That's exactly what I have here, a rectangle with another piece in it, and then at the bottom is a rectangle. So I'm going to show you the way that I designed it, just as an example, and then I'm going to show you how to make it astronomically stronger, okay? We talked about different joints. I'm going to show you a joint today that's actually more difficult to do, and I'll show you the easy way to do it and the more difficult way to do it. And they're both a lot stronger, or the second one that I'm going to show you is a lot stronger, but the other one works as well. So let's do this. When you get started, I've got to go back here, and this time I want to share my camera again. So when you get started, there's 2 things that you need, and this may not be something that you have right now at your house, at home, but it is something that is important that you have before you actually get started. Number 1 is wax paper. Wax paper is so when you glue your things together, it doesn't stick to the table. And number 2 is a cutting board, something that you can cut on. I just have literally a board, a piece of wood that I'm cutting on. At home, you can use an actual cooking cutting board if you want to. Just rinse it off when you're done so you don't get the glue on it, or any of the balsa wood on it. Do not, I'm going to say this, it's on recording. Do not cut on your parents' tables. If you cut on your parents' tables and you cut into their table, that is your fault, not mine. I told you, do not cut on your parents' things, only cut on a cutting board, okay? The next thing I want to tell you is when you're working with your X-Acto blade, anytime you're not using it, put it down, put the top on it, okay? Put the top on it. The second thing I want you to know is this is not for spreading glue. It is not for cutting glue. It is only for cutting balsa wood, okay? Do not use this to spread glue. If you do, you'll ruin the blade, and I have a few blades, but you won't be able to work with it until you come and get another blade. Do not use this to spread glue, okay? All right, so let's talk about the structure here. So this is the top, and what I did was, let me get a different ruler. Let me grab a different ruler here because I have a clear one and it's really hard to see. Where's my other ruler? Give me a second here. I need a dark. What did I do? Ah, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So first things first, I want you to remember, even if you didn't make the actual practice yet, the length of this is, or the length of the car is 10 inches. I know it's hard to see it from where you are. 10 inches right over here where my finger is here. 10 inches by, and I'm going to use this one because it's easier to see, by 4 inches. It should be exactly 4 inches on this side over here. That's easier. That's better. There's 1, there's 4. Okay, which means this is 1/4 of an inch. This is 1/4 of an inch. So I made these 3.5 inches. Okay? This is the easy way to do it. What I'm going to do is instead of cutting these 3.5, I'm going to cut them 4. I already cut these ones 10. Oops, that was my 10 one. I cut these 10. Now I'm going to cut these 4. And I'm going to show you a cool little thing here. So I'm going to make this the bottom like this. Okay. So if you look at the top part, I have 10, 10, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. Okay. And then I glued them and I set them flat. I tried to get them as square as I could. I did my best. But I'm going to show you something that's very, very important. When you put things together, do you see how this little chunk is sitting right? Let's see if I can show you. Let's see if it'll focus on that. There's a little chunk right there. You want to make sure that these are as flat as possible. If you get a jagged edge, I don't have my sandpaper over here, but you can sand it on your sandpaper. You just want to smooth it out. The smoother this intersection is right here, the easier it's going to be to glue it together. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to rock back and forth on the line that I made. Let me move this. Maybe I can move this way. There you go. I'm going to rock back and forth on this so I have a definitive line. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to rock back and forth on this side. I'm going to turn it again. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting into the center from all 4 sides. And when you're done, it'll pop. Okay? And what you're looking for is the smoothest space that you can get right here. Okay? You want that as smooth as possible. So I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you my little trick that makes it a little bit stronger. So let's mark. I'm using this one as a template for the second one. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to go as far through a little bit, go this way, and I actually went all the way through. Some of these are softer than others. It should be sharp enough to be able to trim some of these too. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I made these 4 inches. And now, if you look, and I put this together, this is now 4.5 inches wide by 10 inches long. Now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take and I'm going to put one kind of like this up to the end, and I'm going to make a little mark. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in halfway. Just halfway. And this takes a lot of practice. And then I'm going to come to the side, and I'm going to cut it this way. So I have this little chunk that's sitting off like that, and now I've got this little piece. Sometimes it doesn't come in very smoothly, and you can slice this just like this to make it a little bit smoother. You can go this way, but be very careful that you don't slip because you'll cut all the way through it or you'll cut your finger. So when you do that, all you have to do is just kind of slice here a little bit. I'm not pushing hard. And then I have something that looks like that. It actually is not deep enough, but it's okay for now. Then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing here. You can use this to mark it if you want to. And always mark away from your body. Everybody cuts themselves, just so you know. If you cut yourself, you're not the only one. And I'm going to go halfway in. And some, like I said, some of these are softer than others, so some of them cut a little bit easier than others. And I'll go here and I'll cut. And I'll just trim this off. I'll trim it back this way. And you can also use this like a saw. You can go back and forth like that. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it in the middle of the screen. And then just kind of slice that off. So then I end up with something like that. Now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to overlap them so they sit like that. Except this one is a little fat still. So I got to trim that up a little bit more. Until they fit together a little bit better. And it may take you a little while, a little bit of practice to slice it up so they fit right. Okay, and there we go. That's a good joint. So then now I'm just going to do that for all of them. Okay, and then put them together. I'm going to try and do this fast because I know you guys want to actually start building. If you want to build, that's cool. If you want to watch, that's cool. If you didn't really get the idea, I'll walk you through a little bit more. Okay, and then I'll just check it here. That looks pretty good. You got to do all 4 of them. Now, obviously, it would be faster just to glue them together, you know, like that. It's very fast. You just put glue in between, but it's not very strong. When you put these together and you glue these together, you get a really, really strong joint. And then once you do that, and then you do the gusseting over top of it, you're talking about a really, really strong joint. So it is worth putting in the extra time to do this. I'll mark this. So if you guys want to go ahead and work, so the things that you probably need to do at this point, if you haven't done the practice yet, you need to do the practice. If you haven't done the CAD drawing of the other thing, you need to do that. If you don't have your materials at home, and you're waiting until Thursday to do this, I'm sorry, Friday, excuse me. If you're waiting until Friday to do this, then start working on what you want your design to be for your trusses on the inside. And I will, in a different video, when we start doing the trusses, I will show you how to do this exact same thing for the cross beams. And I'm going to show you something I made for a different class. I did this for a different class for a little car frame, and you can see I notched all of these across, and I notched them so they all fit together. This is insanely strong. So you can see it doesn't take much wood to add together something that's really strong in this fashion. Okay? Does that make sense? So I will show you that later. Let me finish this so I can put this together so I can show you sort of how it finishes out. If you guys, like I said, if you want to go ahead and start working, you can. That goes for people here. If you want to start designing, if you want to finish up doing some CAD stuff so you can catch up and feel like you're caught up in the class, then you can do that too. But remember, you need to get this stuff done. This is very time consuming. You can see it takes 3 or 4 times as long to do this. But it is worth every minute for how strong you're making this. While I'm doing this, does anybody have any questions about what I'm doing? So in the end, this is about what it should look like. And now that that's set up like that, and like that, I'll show you just real quick so you can see that this is 4 inches, this is 4 inches, and this is 10 inches. Okay? So then to put this together, I'm going to put my wax paper down, just like that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here and there. Just like that. A little bit of glue there, a little bit of glue there. And then stick it together. It stays a little bit more square this way also. That's it. Okay? Pretty straightforward. So this is the bottom, and that's the top. Okay, so those are the 2 pieces you're going to start with. These have to dry 100%. So they have to dry for about 24 hours for you to be able to do that next step. This is why you have to allow some time to let things dry. Okay?